Hey guys, this is Ashley. Just wanted to say before you start the podcast that this was created on March 24th. So it's been almost like 2 whole months. Sorry about that. Things have happened. But I just wanted to let you know, and just in case anything's a little outdated or whatever. But also give a big kudos to Vanessa for figuring out how to edit, at least partially. If you follow us on Twitter, you will see her struggles. But yeah, so please enjoy this podcast, and we hope to have a new one out sooner than this. Bye. Hello, it's Oopsie Daisy. I'm Ashley.
And it is I, the now unemployed Vanessa.
I'm sorry, Vanessa.
Yeah, it was great. We recorded that episode and I still had a job. And then I went into work on Monday and they were like, sorry, everyone has been laid off. And I was like, oh no.
Well, to be clear, you still have a job after this whole mess.
Yeah, except I just don't have one. Yeah.
Except that you're not really making any money from now until then.
No, I filed for unemployment. So, waiting for that to get through. Because the day before I filed, there was a record amount that got filed that week, and it was 900,000 people.
Yeah, that's just...
Yeah, so they had to hire people to do the influx of...
Well, I guess that's good for those people who just got hired.
Right? Instead, I'm just here, dying, actually. I did my fitness and had a nice beer in between every set I did, as you do. Yeah.
I wonder if that just, equals out, or you're actually,
I don't know. I'm just now in a mood now where my friends have sent me beer money to drown my sorrows.
Have you gone to get more beer?
No, because I still have a lot left. So
okay.
I'm holding on to those funds until I run out of beer. So if you would like to donate to my GoFundMe page.
Oh, God.
Just saying.
All right. So yeah, that's what happened to you today. Or not today, but this week.
What happened to you?
Not much.
Must be nice.
I mean, it was work. I had a lot of emails for work.
I heard that the states now...
Same old.
I heard that the states now are the one that the most cases in the world.
Yeah. Woohoo, USA!
You guys are the best at something for once.
Always at the worst.
Not that anyone wants to take it. No one wants to take that from you.
Most cases. Woo! Probably will have the most deaths soon too.
Yeah, isn't it New York and New Orleans are the epicenters?
I definitely know New York. They have a shit ton of cases.
Good old Florida and their spring breakers.
There's certain parts, my county's pretty big with cases. It has 200 some right now, I think, or even more. I don't know. And then on the other side of the state where all the main beaches are, that's where they're getting a lot of their cases. But yeah.
Ours is
I made a pizza, a homemade pizza today, though.
Ooh. What kind?
Plain. That's the only thing I eat.
Wait.
And I added hot sauce.
So cheese and hot sauce.
Well, it was cheese sauce, a regular plain pizza.
Okay. A plain pizza to me is nothing. So it's a cheese pizza.
Yes, but that's a plain pizza because there's no toppings.
Okay, just cheese pizza.
Could you imagine if I just put cheese and hot sauce and didn't even put salt sauce on? That would be, oh my God.
But yeah, no, I know for us, Quebec is the epicenter, and it has over 1,000 cases. I know, it's a lot. Then it's Ontario with 800, and then BC, where I am, with 700 or 600.
Yeah, I know Toronto.
It's okay, I stay home. And I go for my daily walk.
Mm-hmm. No,
and I stay 10 feet away.
A daily walk as long as I don't have my classes that night. And even now, they're getting so congested. Everyone's taking a freaking walk. Everyone's riding their bikes. Everyone's walking their dogs.
And I'm like, how is this supposed to help?
Excellent.
Because there's just like this one strip of like sidewalk that I would usually go up and down, and like lately there's just been more and more people that have been like walking. I'm just like, ugh.
It's all good, but guess what? I just got a message from my boss sending in my ROE,
That what?
record of employment, so I can for filing for unemployment. That's fun. As we talk about it, it just showed up.
Well, at least you can file now.
Yeah, now I've already filed. Like, you're able to add it on later.
Mhm.
I will message him now and say, mail it to me because I'm not leaving the house to go get it. He's like, I have a physical that I can mail to you or leave it at the office in the time slot. I'm like, bruh, I have no key to get in. So obviously mail it to me.
People are freaking stupid.
I know. Don't mind me, I'm just messaging. That's why the thing went down.
Alright, well,
So yeah, this episode.
this episode is Crushing the Coach. That's the one we watched today. And Vanessa, whenever you're ready, you can give us your summary.
Oh, I am ready. Let me tell you what this summary is. This is a story about failed first dates and love at first sights that didn't happen, about feelings that people don't want, and a hoe of a man who's trying to date a million people at once. Also, we may or may not have another sighting of serial killer cases.
Okay. All right. So this episode starts out with Lizzie. She comes home from a soccer game and she's like happy they lost.
Yeah, that no one does that.
And because even Nora's like, you're happy about that? Like, what? And she's just because she loves her coach so much. He's just so much fun. And then not long after that, the coach comes by to give Lizzie, what was he giving her? Her mouth guard or something?
I don't think they have mouth guards in soccer.
Or her retainer, something. It looked like something she puts in her mouth.
Does she have a retainer?
I don't know,
Maybe it
but
is a
it
mouth
looked
guard.
like it was in like that kind of a container.
Maybe it is a mouth guard.
Right. So
It's very physical soccer then.
So anyway, he comes by with her like mouth guard, and Lizzie's like, "Oh, thank you, Scott." And then she was like, "You want to stay for dinner?" Without even asking her parents, but her parents do ask Scott if he wants to stay for dinner, and he's about to reject the offer when, of course, Casey comes down the stairs, and he's just like, "Whoa!" And then he's like, "Of course I'll stay."
I mean, that's not telling at all.
What?
That's not telling for him at all. It just sees Case. Whoa.
Well, he didn't actually go, whoa, but that was like his face.
I know, but I could tell he was going, whoa.
So, next scene is that they're all like sitting down at dinner, and Derek, he comes down and he's like reading a newspaper, and he sees Scott in his seat, and he's just like looking at him while he's in his seat, and Scott's like, "Oh, I'm sitting in your seat, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, good job." And so Scott leaves. He goes to the other side of the table and he goes to sit down. But just as he sits down, Marty yells at him, who's under the table. And
Why is she under the table again? Is she in her like animal cat dog phase again?
maybe, yeah. And so, he's being like extra cutesy with her. He's like, "And where do you want me to sit?" And then she's like, "In the garage."
He's so cringe.
He is. He's very cringe.
I hate him so much.
But yeah, so he ends up taking a seat next to Lizzie and next to George. I think that's where he set up. So
Yeah, and I know it's next to George. For
yeah,
sure.
he was next to George for sure, but I think he was next to Lizzie. So he sits there and he comes about saying that like apparently Scott was on a team with Derek where he.
No, they're in the same league. They're in the same hockey league.
Oh, they're in the same hockey league. Okay.
So that means he goes to a different high school, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I guess so. I would assume he's at a different high school because he didn't like Lizzie doesn't. I mean, not Lizzie. Casey doesn't know him.
Yeah.
But he coaches for Lizzie's soccer team. It must be like a really close district kind of thing.
Well, that's how mine is. I have like.
Well, I'm saying like
my
he
high
must like
school.
live not far from where like maybe the district kind of like
The
yeah.
lines. What is this, Mighty Ducks? Fucking redrawing district lines.
So
There's a Mighty Ducks podcast out there if anyone's interested. It's really good.
Also, so he said like, oh, where he figured out like the name Triple D, and that's apparently called Daredevil Derek.
Yeah.
And he took 3 penalties before the game started.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you do that. What the hell was he doing?
I don't know. Maybe he was just chirping some dude during warm up. I don't know. And then fight ensued.
I can see him like playing like a sword fight with the sticks or something, and it's like a bunch of high sticking shit. Like,
I have no idea. I don't know. See, when it was Triple D, all I could think of was again, Mighty Ducks, Triple D. This is becoming a Mighty Ducks episode / podcast, I'm guessing, but that's all I could think of.
So then Casey asked Scott why he got into coaching soccer, and he's like, "I know it sounds bad, but I'm patting."
I love your
Huh?
I love your impersonation voices. I love them. I know it sounds bad. It sounds like you're the Godfather. You come to me on the day of my granddaughter's
Well, I'm
wedding.
trying to give him a different voice here. You know, he's trying to seem like, you know, it's not insincere, but he's still like insincere. And so he's like, I know it sounds bad, but doing it to pad my university resume. And then he's like, and then Casey, of course, like, oh no, that's exactly why. And apparently,
I understand. I'm on the Glee Club and the chess club and whatever.
hold on. Casey is in 4 freaking clubs, 3 committees, and she volunteers 2 times a week. Just hearing that makes me tired.
How does she have time to be a serial killer if she has all those things going
here,
on?
there's the thing, because Derek and then like, and you still have time to ignore me 24/7.
Oh, Derek. So great.
But no, that's actually the perfect way to be a serial killer. She has alibis.
Ooh, you right.
Because, like, you know,
You right.
if she's volunteering and she just slips away for like 5 minutes, comes back. I was volunteering the whole time. And she's such a goody good. I mean, look what her does. Like, she has a resume like that. So you gotta think of that.
You right.
But anyway.
You so right.
So, of course, then Scott lays it on thick, but like, you know, teaching kids like Lizzie is very rewarding. I just like want to smack Scott. Like, really, Casey? Like, you're taking this load of bull from him?
I hate him. I hate him so much.
But also,
annoying.
He's supposed to be Casey's age. He looks at least 10 years older.
10 years older. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. He looks so old.
He does. Like, not only like does he look old, but he just appears very old. Like,
I'm gonna do some research for us.
Like what his actual age is compared to Ashley's?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to know who he is and how old he is during this time. I can't spell crushing.
Because apparently. I think Ashley was like 18-ish or 19 during this season. I think she was born in like 86 to 88, something like that range. And this was like 2006, 2007.
Maybe.
So she was like 18, 19 when she was filming this. Which makes sense because they're usually 18 so that they can like work the whole time.
Cast. Oh my god. Jordan Todesy, you look so like crazy. Look at her photo. It's too intense for her character photo.
That's what she looks like.
It's too hardcore.
But
it's not what she looked like in the episode.
Not in the Life with Derek ones. They were like 15 years ago.
One girl's just credited as Poetry Girl. There we go. Scott. I found Scott. He is... Why don't you give me any info?
Because he's a nobody.
Apparently, it doesn't have any info for him. Brett Ryan. We're changing this now. Brett.
He also has the most like freaking blandest name that will bring up like 800 million results that are not him.
It's true. I can't spell either today. I just want you to know.
It's really, really like basic names there, Vanessa.
Listen, like, I couldn't spell it all day. All my tweets, I was like, I can't find his age, but he's 40. Decided. He's 40 years old.
He definitely was older than Ashley. Like, I have to think that. Like, he had to be at least almost like 25, I feel like. And they were trying to pass him off as like maybe 18 at the oldest. Like he's
Yeah,
a
maybe.
senior. Like I don't know, but it was just no. Dude had like so much like 5 o'clock shadow going on there.
Oh, I know. Like you see Derek, and Michael can grow facial hair. We've
Well,
seen
now,
this.
but maybe
But
not
like now, then, but like this guy's like skin where a beard would be is like super gray, like just from like where the skin grows hair. So it's like, oh my god, he's like 80 years old playing a 12-year-old. It's not a good look.
So, but anyway, so then Scott, he posed a question to the table. He was like, oh, so where does Lizzie get her sports skills from? Mom or dad? And then Nora's like, oh, we're a blended family. Oh, okay, Nora. Okay,
God.
thank you.
Yeah.
She has to tell
We're a
like which
blended
kids
family.
are
They're
hers and
Italian,
like
we're
which ones are
Scottish.
George's. Like we separate them by the sides of the table.
It's so weird. We're so segregated, our families.
But also,
The Italians stay on that side of the table, and the Scottish stay on this side of the table.
George reveals that they've only been married a few months, so it hasn't even been like a year yet.
But no, I'm so confused.
Like,
hasn't it been like 2 years since?
It should be. Anyway.
Speaking of this, I would like to take the point to say we are foregoing production order.
Oh yeah. This actually, I think this is towards the beginning of the season too, like in the mid maybe. So, but still,
so
a few
episodes
months
are going to be fucked.
After a whole season 1 and like half of a season 2, they're still only a few months married.
Yeah.
Unless he's
ready.
taking like few months, meaning like not a year yet.
Maybe.
Regardless,
Maybe.
Yeah, because when we were going by production order, they were gonna have us watch Dinner Guest, which if you don't know, that's the one with Casey's dad. But also in that episode, Derek's already dating Kendra, and we have not gotten to the part where he is dating Kendra yet. So we're like, yeah, this is not it.
Ashley is not it with her decision making on this one, guys. I'm sorry.
At one point, it made sense. Now it doesn't. So
no, it's true.
Anyway. So Scott then says, oh, it was probably love at first sight when, George and Nora met. And George's like, yes. And Nora's like, no.
That's a hard pass from
Nora.
She
was just like, oh, no. And then George is like, yeah. It just felt so bad for George because...
I just love how they portrayed him in that flashback.
Oh, well, we'll get to that. But
no, we're gonna get to it now.
Soon. But anyway.
Soon.
What are you doing?
I'm listening.
Yeah, but you're like using your phone and I see it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm refreshing my email to see if fucking unemployment has sent me an access code for my claim. I would like to make money,
So essentially, I feel like this would be something, or that's already happening, like Daisy. Like the second Derek saw her, he was like, oh my god. But then Casey was like, ew.
Ew. Big ew.
So I feel like that, like, because you often, like, show parallels between Nora and George and Casey and Derek, and I feel like this is exactly what would happen with them. That already is happening with them. So, alright. And then the next scene shows Lizzie and Scott watching an old game of Lizzie's on the TV when Casey comes over. And Scott says it makes him see why the team is so bad this year. Basically because he sucks at being a coach.
I thought you were about to say, oh, I could see why we suck this year. You're so shit, Lizzie. I was gonna be like, wow, coach of the year.
I don't think he would say that though, with like Casey right there and he wants to like bang her, but
just a banger.
Come on, that's all that's on his mind.
Yeah, oh my goodness. But that's like pedophilic. Because he's like 40.
Yeah,
he's like 40.
Yeah.
She's like 12.
If I was Nora and George, I'm like, Casey, he seems a lot older than you, so let's not.
How about we don't and say we did? How about that?
So then Derek comes barreling down the stairs with Edwin and he steals the remote from Scott, saying that they're going to watch real sports now. And of course he turns on wrestling, which is probably like the fakest sport that there is. I have nothing against wrestling, but it's like, it's not real. I mean, come on now.
Speaking of wrestling, though, like, you know how WrestleMania was in Florida?
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be in Tampa.
Yeah, and then they, like, canceled it, so it was literally, like, an empty stadium, and then fucking Rob Gronkowski comes out, like, and he's doing his weird shit. It was so creepy. I saw these clips of it. He was, like, air humping, like, the posts in the wrestling ring.
Did they already have it?
Yeah, they filmed it in a closed stadium, so it was just televised or whatever.
I didn't
So there
realize
was
they
no one
already
there.
had WrestleMania.
Yeah, and it was awkward to see Rob Gronkowski humping the ring pole. It was very awkward. I'll send you a clip so you understand.
Okay.
You'll love it.
So of course Casey and Lizzie yell at Derek about doing this, but Scott reassures them that it's fine since he's just a WrestleManiac himself. Who the
Ugh.
hell called it like that?
Ugh.
And tells them not to hold it against them. And then of course both Lizzie and Casey are like, okay.
Okay.
Or they won't. They say they won't, but still.
Ugh.
And then Scott gets a call, and then while he's on the call with them, he tells the person that he's leaving right now, and he's like, promise you won't fall asleep, or something like that.
Ew.
It's just like, he's like whispering this shit, and then he looks over, and Casey and Lizzie are like looking at him like, what are you doing?
It's another girl. No, that's just my
yeah,
mom.
it's my mom. We're really close.
Gross. Not only is he a pedophile, but he does incest with his mother. Disgusting. What is this show trying to teach kids? This show was taken off the air for a reason. The show was taken off the air for a reason.
2 seasons later,
It was about to get too real, that's why. They were going off to college where there's no supervision.
So as Scott leaves, Lizzie can kind of tell that Casey likes Scott, and maybe Scott likes Casey too.
Like, let's stop for a second. So, I know this happens to, like, everyone, because everyone gets, like, a crush on someone who's older than them. But, like, in what world, Lizzie, do you think he's gonna go out with you? You're, like, 2, and he's, like, 40.
Well, okay, so that's the thing. Like, you obviously know that the odds are stacked against you, but I think it's still, like, there's still that part of you that wishes that it could be, and you have this, like, fantasy life, probably, where, like, it happens,
Yes.
and then, like, you hear he has a girlfriend or something, and it shatters. But then, like, your sister's the girlfriend, and that's just, like, even worse. You know what I mean? So it's just, like,
Disgusting.
So anyway, so Lizzie can kind of tell that they kind of like each other. So as Edwin and Derek are still watching wrestling, Casey mentioned it to Lizzie that your coach is, like, really cute.
Yes, Casey, if you like old
And
man.
Lizzie's all like, do you think so? I didn't even notice.
Old man.
And then the phone rings and Derek answers, and you can only hear his side of the conversation. And he's like, yeah, of course, you'd love to. Pick her up at 7:30. And then he tells Casey that she has a date with Scott that Saturday night. And of course, Casey's all like, you didn't tell me about it. You didn't even ask me. And apparently he wanted to do this so that he could watch his hockey game in peace on Saturday night.
I mean, I get it.
And
I too set up my siblings so I can watch hockey and
and then Casey, even though she complained, she was like, well, I would have said yes anyway.
God.
And then so Lizzie, she's like, Casey, Scott is a sports guy. I don't know if he's right for you.
Let's be real. Casey's a sports person too. She's on the debate club, and that's for sure a sports event. Okay,
but like also, she was into Sam. He's a hockey player.
She's into Max, who's a football player.
Well, later on, yes, down the line, she's into Max, who's a football player. She's into Scott, who's a soccer coach, but it seems like he's also a hockey player. All sports people. Like, that's her thing, I guess. She has a type despite not liking to watch it.
She has a type. She has a type, and it's Derek.
Yes.
We get it.
Yes.
We get it.
Essentially, that's what it comes down to. So this is the thing. So Lizzie tells Casey, like, I don't know if, like, he's right for you. And Casey immediately, not talking to Lizzie anymore, she goes to Derek, and she was like, let's hear it. he's too good for her. Because she wants to say, like, Derek doesn't approve of this. And Derek's like, he seems decent. And then Casey's like, you actually approve? And I think that's when you should have known that this relationship was going to be doomed. Because
if Derek
I think
approves
it's only,
as the guy.
as much as I think she actually genuinely likes Sam, I think part of the best part of it was that she was kind of getting under Derek's skin as well by liking him. And I think that was a little bit of it. And then now with, like, what's his face, she was kind of maybe hoping in a way for that same effect, but it's not happening. So then it goes to a scene where Nora and George are, like, doing the laundry, and they're talking about Casey's date with Scott. And then George brings up the love at first sight thing with her. And apparently their first date was a blind date, which I'm wondering who set them up together. Like, I'm just like...
I don't know, was there like a Tinder or whatever back in the day that they used on AOL Messenger?
I mean, there was, like, dating sites, but you still could put up, like, a picture.
God, I just can't.
With the way they're talking about it, like, I figured, like, one of their friends knew another one of her friends, and, like, they were like, hey, you're both single and divorced, maybe you should be... maybe you should go out
with
together.
A million kids?
Yeah. So, it actually flashes back to their first date. George makes it out to seem like it was super romantic with candles and a nice dinner.
You're so droll, George.
Yeah, you're so droll. You're so droll. And then she's like, George, you have drool on your...
And then she's just like, you got, like, ketchup on your, like, face. And he's like, my bad. Wipes his face across his shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
and it looks
bad.
like they're eating, like, fast food almost. Like,
yeah, they're having, like, burgers and fries at the local diner. At Smelly Nellie's, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. You know, George thought he was being romantic and charming. Really, he wasn't. He said something like when he was like cleaning off his face, he was like, "Gotta keep the mug clean for the first kiss or whatever." And then he's just like, I was like, cringe. Why the hell would you ever want to go on a second date with him?
I hate, you know, like, you watch TV shows or movies and something embarrassing happens in that, but you feel their embarrassment for them. You get that secondhand embarrassment. That's what happened in that moment. I hate it. That's why I hate watching certain shows or movie scenes, and you get to that part, you know it's gonna happen, you just, like, fast forward through it. You're like, I can't handle this.
So Nora tells him her side of the events, and George's like, oh, you thought I was a joke. Like, that was my first impression. And he was like, well, I won't stay here and be laughed at. So he leaves, only for it to show that he has, like, these tiny whiteys on the back of his ass. So, of course, Nora's laughing, even though that's, like, the whole point was for him to not laugh at him, but okay. Yeah. All right, so then Scott comes to pick Casey up. Immediately, he comes in and he hears the hockey game, and he's like, oh, I don't want to watch that, I'm taping it. And Derek's like, okay, and make sure you don't come back until, and then Scott says it with him, like, after the game's over. So they're very right there with each other. They kind of...
They're on the same wavelength.
Yes, they're on the same...
I know, that's why I had an issue too.
They're on the same wavelength.
Yes. Ow, I just hit my head on the mic. I'm good. Don't worry about it. You'll hear it in the podcast. It'll be great.
So, yeah, okay. So, yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two that you can see. So, after Scott and Casey leave, Derek turns to Lizzie, because she had come down, because she had wanted to play, like, soccer with him while Casey got ready. But then, like, right after she said that, like, Casey's flying down the stairs. So, of course, she didn't get to, and she was bummed. And so Derek's like, oh, you know, everyone's out. Marty's playing hide and seek with herself. Anyone picking you up for going out for a date, Lizzie? And Lizzie's like, no, all men are jerks, like you. Like, I could just feel the Casey in her right now.
Oh, God. I bet you she runs up the, like, stairs to go write more poetry. I feel it. That's what she's doing. She's like, all right, I'm upset. Time to write about this.
So, surprisingly, Edmund has become a lot more sensitive since the last time he's been involved in this
Yeah,
stuff.
because he's like, how could you do this, Derek? How could you? Lizzie's in pain. And I was like, oh my goodness, Edwin the creep is gone, who's like, look at that booty! And is now like, oh my god, Lizzie, my friend, my sister. We can't say that because everyone's out there is Leswind or Lizwind or whatever it is.
Well, I'm not, but I understand.
That's right, you're Deadwin. That's right.
Oh gosh. We're Dizzy. With the
Lizzie. Oh no! Cease and desist.
I've seen that.
I've seen it too, and I cried. Gross.
So, he asked Derek how he could be so insensitive. And of course, Derek's like, years of practice. So he goes off, everyone goes off upstairs, and he sees Lizzie, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry about my brother's insensitive words and your sister's actions. And then he's basically saying, like, this is your first crush. And of course she tries to deny it at first, but then she comes to accept it. But also, okay, she's like, what, 10?
They're older than that for sure, but yes.
And she's just now having
We'll go
her
at
first
10.
crush?
I mean, it happens.
I know it happens. That's
Or
just,
she
like, very, very hard for me to like grasp because I'm pretty sure I was like 3 or 4 when I had mine.
Oh my god, how do you remember that?
Because it was the Red Ranger and my sister wasn't alive yet.
My sister was in love with the Green Ranger.
Oh really?
She's like, I love you, Tommy. And I was like, ugh, look at him and his
I had like
ponytail.
these trading cards, and one was just like him. Like it had like a profile, like
Yeah.
just like a portrait picture of him on the front. And like
Yeah.
I carried that with me so much, just so like I could like look at
Jason?
it. No, Rocky.
Rocky, okay.
Yeah.
It was a weird time in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers
Then he
series.
became like the Blue Ranger. I don't know. It was like a lot of weird stuff. But when I was watching, he was the Red Ranger. So yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm OG. Jason was
Oh
the
yeah, I watched
Ranger in my
too.
time.
But like when I was watching it, I think at that point he was the Red Ranger. And then like
Okay.
the second I started school, kid you not, I had developed a crush on like one of the kids in my class. Like literally,
Well, you're such
it
a
was
hoe.
like the love at first sight type of shit right there.
You're such a hoe, Ashley. You're such a
I'm
hoe.
just saying. So when people say like they were like 10 or 11, like, and they had their first crush, I was like, shit, I've had like 10 since then.
Because you're not I was gonna say you're a womanizer, but that doesn't count. You're like cheating on Rocky with this kid in your class.
Well,
like
no, that was
two-timing.
years later. That was like
Oh,
2
okay.
years later, and I was not watching the Power Rangers anymore. So
How could you cheat on it? You're right, it was Space Rangers. It was Rangers in space then.
it might have been,
You're
yeah.
right. I know this thing. I know these things.
So
You know why I know these things? Because I think the main character's sister in real life is Alex from Supergirl. And I think she's on the show as well.
really, Tyler?
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna Google right
Okay.
now.
Huh?
I know his name. His name was Andros on Power Rangers. Andros. Yes, and it's Christopher. Yes.
I didn't know she had
I
a
know
brother,
these
let
things.
alone one that was like in the business.
Yes, I remember.
Oh, him,
Yeah. Yes.
dude! I know.
This is all in Spanish. This is all in Spanish, but Grey's Anatomy popped up on there and Supergirl, so it must be true.
I remember him. Yeah, they spelled their last names differently.
Yeah.
She spells it
That's all I know.
Leigh, and he spells it Le. What's
Yeah.
up with that?
It's the only reason I remember shit.
And their parents don't even have the same last names. What's up with that?
Oh. I ain't about that drama.
No, their father's name is Robert Potts, and then their mom's name is Yvonne Norton.
Maybe
Well, he has
it's
a
like what every
yeah.
actor does.
Huh?
They change their names when they get into the business, and they somehow chose like the same name but just spelt differently.
Like, yeah, let's go with the actor. They're like, okay, let's do a different name. And use your name. Okay, what do you want? Do Lee. Okay, so they both write out their paperwork with the last name Lee, but they both spell it differently, and they don't know until they've like submitted it.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like, "Well,
Oh my god, yeah, I remember him. Oh yeah, okay, wow. I didn't know they were like related.
yeah,
That's so cool. They don't look related,
It's the only-
but that's cool.
I know. Drew, did you know that what Marilyn Monroe's real name is?
No.
It's Norma. Her name is
Well,
Norma Jean.
I guess that makes sense for why she changed
She
it.
is the sister of Billie Jean because her name is Norma Jean, sister of
Oh,
sister
God.
Billie Jean, who was in Survivor with Casey and Dark Chocolate. It's all full circle, guys. We're not talking about random shit. It's all full circle.
Right. Okay. So anyway, Eric, who the hell's Eric? All right.
Who the fuck is Eric?
So, Edwin, he's saying, like, oh, that's your first crush. He's like, but it's never going to happen, right? Basically, he says it. And at first, she's like, yeah. And then he's like, see, like, Scott likes girly girls. And then Lizzie gets, like, so defensive. And she was like, well, I can be a girly girl. So then she, like, marches off to her room. And so not long after, Casey comes back home with Scott in tow. And she expresses how the date went good and that she's surprised it went good because he has the Derek seal of approval, which means something has to be wrong with him. And
Truth.
of course, she's like, well, there is.
There is.
I'm not that great
There
of a
is something
kisser.
wrong with them.
And then,
Ugh, it's so cringe.
so of course, Casey's like, oh, well, I'll stay. And then they're about to kiss. And maybe they didn't kiss because he's so freaking old.
Maybe she realized when she got closer to him.
But Casey,
She's like, that smells like old man smell.
well done. But so Lizzie comes down the stairs and she interrupts them from kissing. And she has like all this makeup on her face. And she's like wearing like nicer, girlier-ish clothes.
And her hair's all done and
Yeah.
did.
And Casey's just kind of like looking at her. Because then she's like asking Scott questions. And then she's just like laughing manically as he answers them, like he's really funny, which he's really not. So then Casey's kind of seeing like, oh, Lizzie likes Scott. That's a thing. Okay. So then she's like, Lizzie, how about I help you with this? I'll be right back. So she takes Lizzie up to her room. And
Where Casey, the serial killer, comes in to play.
so she says, like, oh, Lizzie, if I had known that you had liked Scott, I would never have gone out with him, even though the date was, like, the best.
There it is. She's beginning to use her manipulation skills on her own sister, her flesh and blood. And Lizzie's like, no, it's okay. You can keep going on dates with him. Boom, roasted serial killer.
And, of course, Casey's like, okay.
Yeah. She's like, I win. Boom, roasted.
So Scott is still downstairs waiting for Casey to come back from talking to Lizzie. And Derek sees him. He's like, oh, what's up? And then Scott tells him that, Casey better hurry up because he has other plans. And he, like, winks at Derek. And Derek's looking at him like, why are you winking at me? And Scott's like, well, I guess I can tell you because I really know why they call you Triple D. And, like, he took 3 seniors to his junior prom. Is that what they said?
Yeah, he said he brought 3 seniors, so 3 dates. I guess that's
the 3,
Triple D.
yeah.
But it was seniors to junior prom.
But he's a
How old are they?
They are probably still in their freshman year, if not in sophomore at the like latest.
See, I still don't understand how it goes. So is it freshman, sophomore, junior,
Yeah.
senior? Oh my god. See, I thought it was freshman, junior, sophomore, senior.
No.
I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb.
So that would mean he would have to be in 11th grade, which he is nowhere near. So
No,
Derek
he's like
either
9th grade.
lied like no tomorrow, that like all that whole story was bogus, which is very possible. Because Derek, I could see him totally lying about that shit.
Isn't there a fic or something where it's brought up and it's because he got like 3 Ds on his report card or some shit?
There was something like that.
I think that's where it is.
But
Makes so much more
Yes.
sense.
But yeah, where Scott's misremembering something. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense, but regardless. Derek's like, oh yeah, good times. So, he then reveals the soccer scam where he's dating a bunch of the team's older sisters at once. Casey is the fourth. That scumbag.
Womanizer. Womanizer, womanizer, you're a womanizer, baby.
So Derek starts feeling uncomfortable after hearing this, and Scott is about to leave. He has plans with soccer sister number 2. She's blonde,
Is that why Casey goes blonde?
like in the movie.
Yeah.
Derek then asks, like, oh, well, like, what should I tell Casey if you're leaving? And Scott's like, oh, you can tell her whatever. That guys like us always do.
Gross.
Yeah. And so it cuts the next morning, and to put it lightly, Derek is a mess.
It's the greatest, Derek. Just saying.
He pours orange juice into his cereal, but also he did it himself. So he's like bad, man. He's in a bad place right now.
Yeah, because usually he's too lazy to pour his
and
own
Edwin
cereal.
was there.
Yeah.
And he didn't ask Edwin to do it. He didn't even try. Like, he did it himself, and he obviously failed. Maybe this is actually the real reason why he asked Derek. Why he asked Edwin to, like, do all this. He doesn't know milk from orange juice.
No, he does not. They're both in cartons. He doesn't get it. No, it's Ontario. They would have bagged milk.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, so...
Only Canadians will understand.
So anyway, he reveals that he didn't get much sleep last night. So that's basically his state of why he's like that. And Casey says that she knows why he couldn't go to sleep last night. It's because he was so guilty over what he said to Scott the night before that made him leave without saying goodbye.
Oh my goodness, I didn't say anything, bitch!
But I love what Edwin says. He's like, Derek's never feels guilty. Usually is, but doesn't feel it. And then Derek tells Casey, he was like, I didn't tell Scott anything. And then Lizzie's like, what did you say to Scott? And then he's like, I didn't say anything. He's getting very aggressive about this.
No, Lizzie's getting very aggressive about it.
Lizzie was very aggressive about it. Casey says that it's fine anyway because, her and Scott are going to be going out again. And Derek, again? You're going out with him again? Like, why does it matter to you? And he doesn't say anything. And she's like, whatever. And then they leave. So Derek is so gloomy that they further show that he's so gloomy because he doesn't make any jokes at, like, George's expense. Because he, like, apparently tried to give an expired coupon at his date with Nora.
Yeah, expired burger coupon.
It's like, ugh, George. One, you probably shouldn't be using coupons at a date. And two, you need to make sure they're not expired.
That's true, though.
So anyway, then it cuts to George's office. And in there, Casey's like, oh, I just resolved an issue with a sibling. And Paul's like, oh, with Derek? And she's like, actually, no, it was with Lizzie. Oh, so this isn't a Derek Casey issue. Like, there's probably very few that happens in his, like, office with Casey. It's probably Derek.
No, this is where Paul becomes me with his conspiracy theory shit.
So then Casey tells him about how both her and Lizzie had both liked Lizzie's soccer coach. But since it was Lizzie's first crush, she decided she's not going to go for him. And then Paul's like, oh, well, that's really good. There's plenty of other guys out there. And then Casey was like, but then Lizzie said I could go ahead and do it, so I'm going to. And then
I'm going to do it anyway, because I have no emotions for anyone, because I'm a serial killer.
But then, like, 2 seconds later, she's looking at Paul, just look at her, and she was like, I'm a horrible person, aren't I? Listen, okay.
I love it.
So what if Paul didn't say anything? Would she just kept going with it? Like, I feel like she was trying to read 100%. Off Paul's emotions about whether it was a good thing or not. Because
she has no emotions.
That's what they do. That's what they do. They look to see how other people react so that they can react accordingly.
Oh, we're breaking it now. We're breaking it down, guys. This TED Talk in 8 years when we get to season 4 is going to be amazing. I gotta add that. Excuse me. I gotta add that real quick.
Like the 2-hour freaking Life with Derek movie, that podcast.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. Sakes. I gotta add that to today's episode. Looks to Paul for emotional cues. I can't spell.
Alright, so she says that, and she blames Okay, but then again, she brings it right back to Derek. She blames her lack of sympathy on living with Derek. She's lived with Derek too long, so now she has like no sympathy anymore.
It's because they're two like serial killers feeding off each other.
So, later that night, Casey has Lizzie in her room, and she tells her that, okay, for one, Marty just like pops up in her room, and she's like telling Casey that she doesn't want Scott, but she keeps calling him Snot, to come over anymore.
Yeah, it's Scott the Snot. Easy.
So,
Easy, everyone gets
Casey's like,
it.
he's not gonna come over, okay? But then, like, after she leaves, like, well, he's coming over, but
He's coming over. But he's not coming over. Don't worry about
he's
it.
coming over, but I'm gonna tell him that I don't want to see
He's
him
not
anymore.
allowed.
But couldn't you just say that to him over the phone? At this point,
Yeah.
he hasn't done anything bad to her, or she doesn't know about it. So why would you have him come all the way over? I mean, I guess you would maybe want to do that face to face, but like, you only been on one date.
It's Casey, though. She doesn't know how emotions work,
Right.
remember?
True.
It's all full circle.
So, but Lizzie insists it's fine, and she says it's not all right because she thinks of Nicky, something Opolis, or whatever the hell his name was.
Oh, right. I know who we were talking about.
So
Yes,
Lizzie said,
Mr. Eyebrow
the
Man.
guy with the unibrow? And then Casey's like, he had two brows. They just met in the middle.
Hmm? She ain't wrong. She ain't wrong at all.
And she admits that Nicky was her first crush. But her cousin Vicky, after Casey had told her that she liked him, Vicky went after Nicky.
And it was
And they
icky.
were with each other. So they have, again, showing similar type of types. You know, and Vicky went after Derek, at the wedding.
So similar.
Mhm. So, she says she doesn't want Lizzie to look back at her first crush and remember, like, Casey's the one that took Scott away from her, basically. And I didn't get, what was Lizzie saying here? That she was like, you're trying to, like, spare my feelings, but it hurts, and, like,
I don't know.
it was, like, some really dumbass logic.
At this point, I was too busy, like, writing in my serial killer things onto my TED Talk document, so this is all, like, over my head now.
But, like, okay, so she was like, Casey, you're trying, you're saying you're not going to go out with him to spare my feelings, but by you not doing that, it's hurting my feelings or something like that. I don't know. It was just like,
Maybe
it was, I didn't understand what was going on. But,
maybe she meant, like, it hurts me that you're not going to go after what you want because of me. I don't know.
I don't know either. But
It's too
regardless, Casey goes out with Scott.
Disgusting.
Well, she will go out with Scott. And so, right after Lizzie leaves, Derek comes stumbling into Casey's room after Lizzie leaves, and he looks all disheveled. And it flashes, like, to what he thinks is going to happen. So he thinks he's going to tell her that, like, Scott's scamming you. And Casey's going to, tell him that he's such a good person, and he's a great brother. And then right after he, like, envisions that sends him walking right out of her room.
Yeah.
Because he
That's good.
can't have her thinking he's a great brother. That's terrible.
It's because they're not a brother and sister, that's why.
Exactly.
It's not allowed.
So,
It's rated R.
they're in Derek's room now, and he's tapping, like, Edwin's head. And Edwin's like, oh, Derek, you seem, like, really tense. And the doorbell rings. And Derek gets up to look out the window, and he's like, oh, Scott's here. Which is, like, a mood.
It's such a mood.
And Edwin's
and it
like,
triggers Derek.
I'm sensing some hostility there for the coach. And he's like, why? You seem to have so much in common. And Derek's like, that's the problem. And
It's true.
so Edwin's
But,
like,
Derek doesn't do that thing.
what?
Derek doesn't have 4 girls on at once.
Well, we don't know, but
It's true.
regardless,
Irregardless, yes.
regardless, Edwin's like, what's going on? And Derek's like, lately I've been having feelings about, and this is
The most
such
iconic
a freaking
scene.
tease. Shit, this was such a
It's
freaking
the most
tease
iconic.
because I think every Daisy person was on the edge of their seat watching this. They're like, feelings about Casey? Like, what? Come on, the context of this whole thing here. And then he's like,
This episode.
This is a really good Daisy episode. Like, it is.
I know, it makes me want to go read
I know.
stories.
So, feelings about doing the right thing. Like, who words it like that? They were totally teasing the audience with that. Because who words it like that? I've been thinking about doing the right thing. Like, you don't have feelings about it. I don't know. This doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, Edwin's like, when did this start? Like, he's so appalled. He's like, no! And, Deadwin.
Deadwin, there you are again. Your favorite ship, Deadwin.
Derek says that...
Making a comeback.
Derek says that he started feeling this way when Scott told him about the Soccer Sister scam. And Edwin's like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And Derek's like, yeah, I know, he is. And he's like, no, I believe that. I can't believe that you're showing compassion for Casey. Ooh. So Derek complains that he doesn't want to be sensitive and his dilemma in telling Casey because he doesn't want to do the right thing and tell Casey, but not telling her is driving him crazy. So apparently he seems to come up with some idea of how to both have his wrong but make it right or something like that.
Yeah.
So Casey and Scott leave to go out on another date. Marty pops up and she was like, why are Casey and Snot going out again? And Nora says that you shouldn't.
Kids see shit.
Nora says you can't judge people like that. And further says that her and George's first date was lame, unromantic, unsophisticated, and somehow the reason she wanted to know him more.
Nora's wild.
Like, apparently her logic was that, like, she could see he was being himself, so that made it seem like he wasn't trying too hard to be something he wasn't, I guess, but I don't know. I don't think that's a good reason to... I don't know, because the first date seemed disastrous. I don't understand why.
I mean, when a man rolls up with an expired coupon, you go the other way.
You want a man with a good coupon.
A legit coupon that works.
So, Casey and Scott come back, and the rest of the family is apparently out for ice cream. And Scott asks Derek if they can have some privacy.
Gross.
Yeah. But Derek, like, completely ignores him, and he was like, oh, I was watching Lizzie's old soccer games, and, you know, like, I could definitely see why you want to be a coach, you know? Maybe I could volunteer, too. And he's like, maybe I could be, like, the announcer or something like that. And he's like, and I can announce the older sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, hold on, you have to think. He thought this whole script thing out.
Yeah.
Like,
we never said Derek was smart.
No, but hold on. He called all the sisters, and he was like, hey, you know Scott? Yeah, he's two-timing you. How do I know? He's currently dating my stepsister. And so he's like, can you come to my house so I could, like, announce you? Everyone,
so dumb.
Stay in the laundry room for X amount of time, and I'll call you in.
This will be fantastic.
And he's like, Edwin, go upstairs, be ready for how long it takes them to come back with a boombox and a microphone that I can talk into, okay? I am going to sit here at the living room couch, and I'm going to watch Lizzie's old soccer games until they come back. And then afterwards...
Do you think while they were out, he, like, mixed that, like, music for the tape, too, to go with it?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Literally, he seems to have this thing so planned. And it's just like, oh my god, Derek. So, he didn't even watch the hockey game he wanted to. Did he? Or was that a different day? That was a different day.
Yeah, different day.
So, anyway. So, as this all comes out, he's saying, like, okay, Edwin comes down, he gets the microphone, and he was like, and then he starts announcing all the sisters to come out. And they all come out, and they're like, hi, Scott. Hi, Scott.
Your voices.
Hi, Scott.
Your voice impersonations are my favorite. I love it so much.
And so Scott admits that he's dating all of them at the same time. And then he's like, and I'd explain, but my mom is waiting.
That's right. He's very close with his mom, remember?
So, but Derek runs after him and he forces him to come back to apologize because that's what guys like them do.
Did he even apologize? I don't even remember.
Off camera.
Oh.
So later, Edwin and Derek and Casey are on the couch, and apparently Scott apologized, but he's also going to remain coaching the team and he won't tell Lizzie what happened. Though I don't know why he would tell Lizzie what happened,
Right.
but yeah. So Lizzie doesn't know about any of this.
Maybe he doesn't want her to feel used.
Well, anyway, so, well, I know they just don't want to ruin that for Lizzie, obviously. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
why would he, of all people, tell Lizzie, like, your sister dumped me because I cheated on her? Like, that's gonna
I'm a
really put you
scumbag.
in anyone's good graces.
Yeah. I'm a piece of shit scumbag. I can't tell you this.
So Casey semi-yells at Derek for not telling her about Scott as soon as he heard, but she appreciates the effort he put in through to bust him. And she tells him that he's very sweet, and then she tries to hug him, but Derek jumps away.
Of course.
And she's like, one of these days. And then she's like,
We'll have our family good moment.
deep down, you're a good guy, Derek Venturi.
Ha 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 ha. So droll, Casey. You're so droll.
So yeah, that was the episode, and I think this has to be, like, it's categorically a Daisy episode. Like, if you ask people
Yes.
what episodes are good Daisy episodes, this is the one they'll show you, and I think it's one of the better ones.
I
Because it's
agree.
you have moments of Derek jealousy and like resentment almost in a way. It's like of Scott. Like Scott is making him see a version of himself that maybe he doesn't like in a way too. So I don't know. I liked this episode. It was a good episode. It filled my Daisy needs.
I'm gonna go read a Daisy fic now because of it.
It's been a while since I've
don't
actually
know.
read a Daisy fic.
It's true though. I gotta find a good one. You know how much of a snob I am.
Hockey girls.
True. I will listen to that one.
I know it's crazy though, but like there's still plenty of people uploading new Daisy stories. I just haven't read any of them.
Yo, like, are we ever gonna make it through an episode with not talking about Hockey Girl? We brought it up this week. We brought it up the last podcast with the cucumber sandwich.
Oh yeah, well, it's such a
On the
good
bus.
fic. I love that fic so much.
Yeah. B Sloth's like, yes, my legacy lives on.
Yeah, and if you didn't you didn't listen to last week's or last time's podcast, do so. I mean, it does seem like we talk about a lot of like nonsense in the beginning, but we do get to Daisy stuff.
Eventually. We're the best podcasters you've ever seen. Or heard. Sorry.
But, let's do that. All right. If you're not already, follow us on Twitter at DaisyPod. That's our Twitter thing, right? Oopsie Daisy Pod.
Oopsie daisy.
Follow us on
God, you don't
Twitter.
even know our own shit.
Follow us on Twitter
You're
at
such a
Oopsie Daisy
disappointment.
Pod. Follow us on Tumblr at daisy.tumblr.com. Leave us some comments, places.
Reviews. Love us. Like Derek loves Casey.
We hope,
And Casey loves Derek.
that eventually, because
Maybe when she understands her
right
emotions.
now she's in that ooh stage.
She's in that I'm a serial killer and I have no emotions yet, so we gotta wait. But unlike Casey, me and Ashley have emotions, and seeing good comments and stuff makes us happy.
Yes. So do that and stay safe out there. All right.
Social distance yourselves, please.
Yes.
Stay home.
The longer
Be safe.
you keep going out, the longer we're gonna have to keep doing this shit.
Wash your hands,
Yes.
please.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.